Good afternoon. It's so good to have everyone with us this afternoon, and I hope that you're well and feeling good and ready to do a little bit of learning here. You should maybe snack on your dinner or your glass of tea. I'm Steve Carver, working with you from my home office in Dunn. It's my presentation number 1052 on my journey to entrepreneurship. And I appreciate you fellows being with me, and let me join you on your trip as well. I am not a lawyer or a tax advisor or an accountant, but I am a fellow that's been in business and still in business for 64 years. Matter of fact, after COVID, my internet sales business almost doubled for the last 2 years. It's just starting to wane back a little bit, but yeah, I know what it is to get up early in the morning, serve customers, and work with them, and have some sales, and have to pay bills, and do bookkeeping, and all that stuff. So as we talk about it, it isn't something that I'm unfamiliar with. It's something that we're doing every day. And through the years, being involved in maybe as many as 15 different types of businesses, I've gained a lot of experience, and maybe I can share some knowledge with you that'll help you in yours, and certainly welcome you to ask the questions, and we'll see as we go along if we can help each other. I like to call it mutual helpfulness. We're sponsored tonight by the wonderful James Brunt Community College in Kenansville, North Carolina. What a great institution, and with their small business center there, with John Hardison at the helm. They encourage us to help all the entrepreneurs we can, just like John does. He is a CPA and a great counselor, so if you haven't met him or have the opportunity to, give him a call, set up an appointment, and see if there's any way that he can help you move your business along. It's a good fellow and a great counselor. That is a good place to get a second and third opinion when you're trying to decide what to do. And as Ed and I mentioned as we were chit-chatting earlier, the small business centers can be a great asset for you as you're getting started. Got maybe one a week. Maybe some weeks we'll have 2 lessons. So if you want to join me at nights during this summer as we move forward, I certainly look forward to hearing from you. Next week, we're going to be talking about taxes and record keeping. And maybe you have seen my previous presentations on this subject. The one we're going to be doing next Tuesday afternoon is new and revived. I put a whole new section in there about deductions and talking about them, and 25 different types of deductions that you probably will be able to use in your business. So if you have a chance next Tuesday afternoon from 2 to 4, join us back in. I think you'll enjoy the changes that we made in this presentation. There are 3 pivotal points in every company, in every entrepreneur's journey, 3 types of pivotal points for entrepreneurs that are critically important. And as you're beginning your trip into the world of entrepreneurship, having not been down this road before, there's no way that you can know what's coming towards you. I'm in a unique position of being in business 64 years and have seen pivotal points come very often, and they just keep coming. It's not something that stops. It's a regular process. Let me liken it to going down the interstate highway. And it's so good that if we're going from New York to California, we can get a nice map or get our GPS out, and pretty much we're able to see the turns and the places we need to stop and rest, or the place we need to make a right turn or a left turn to get to where we want to go. As a matter of fact, the GPS system will lay it all out for you. Well, kind of that's what we're going to do today, because there is no place that you can go and see all the pivotal points that are ahead of you in your journey, because we don't know where they are. But I think that by working through tonight, you'll see that I'm trying to give you a good feel that you can have your own GPS system to help you see these turning points coming up. You know what's really disappointing is to be in a busy place like Raleigh or down in Wilmington or Washington, D.C. or Atlanta, and you're looking at your GPS and you know you need to turn, but you can't get over there because of the traffic, and you miss your turn. And that may mean you have to go 30, 40 miles out of the way and lose time and be late for an appointment. It's so frustrating. It's the same way in business. There are places that we need to make turns and adjustments at the right time. And if we don't do it, it can cost us big money or really change the whole course of our business forever. So settle back and try to dig in here and follow with me. This is my first time I've given this presentation. It'll get better as we go through the years, but try to absorb what I'm doing, and some of this will have big time applications for you. If you received your handout, all this is listed in that handout that you could print out and make notes as you go. And this is one that I really want you to keep in your business journal and refer to it from time to time on a weekend when you got a few minutes to read or just to soak in some new information. This information is critical, important for the future of any business. So let's talk about it. The three pivotal points that we talk about with entrepreneurs are earning points, earning money. What are we doing to stay on top of our game with the ability to bring in revenue? And that's important on all of us' mind. And there's certain times where we need to recognize what's going on, give it some deep thought, and decide if maybe it's time that I make a change. And in our business plans, if you'll remember when we talk about planning your business, I'm always encouraging you to be flexible. If you don't have demand, make a change. No demand, change the plan. So our earning points, that is a point in time when we need to make a change in order to improve our earnings. That's what we're talking about there. Another pivotal point are learning points, because our progress as we go along and as we work together, learning skills, learning strategies and techniques, the amount of knowledge that we can bring in and apply. And the word application here is really important. Our learning points is all about being able to apply and understand how what we're learning will apply to our individual businesses. All about the brain and making it work. And sometimes this is the most difficult part to move forward or to go along, because we're so busy, just so busy, maybe doing other things, that it's hard to bring all this in. And I'm guilty, giving all these webinars and seminars and saying you ought to do this and you need to do that. And I apologize to you, just part of what I'm trying to teach. But what we leave out so often is how to learn something, take it in, but the key, once we put that in our tool belt, is learning how to apply it to our individual business or to what we're facing on a day-to-day basis. And then there's turning points. And turning doesn't mean like rolling over type turning or turnovers and selling. Turning points is when we actually make a shift or a change in direction. That's the kind of turning that I'm talking about here. Make it a dramatic, a definite change in the direction that we're going in. And it is significant that we know that we're doing it and for what reason. Sometimes we just feel like we're being pushed one way or the other. John, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about when you're coming into a business behind your father, as I did. Sometimes we just kind of feel like we're in the momentum and we're not making the decisions about where we're going. We're just kind of being pushed in the flow of the river, in the current. And that is so easy to get into a habit of letting that current carry you where it goes and just not worrying about it. But here's what I want to say. When we get in that mode of just floating down the river between the banks, there's a good chance we'll be snoozing and we'll miss a place we should be turning just like going down that interstate and missing the exit that we need to do. So to put this in perspective, I'd like to invite y'all to join me thinking about owning a mindset now. That I'm going to give you a new mindset, place in your brain, ask you to plug in this information to help you understand to be on the lookout for these turning points that will be coming your way as you go into business. And there's 8 different little things we'll talk about. What do we have a mindset to get us to sustainability and to be able to recognize and to act when we have a pivotal point come at us? First of all, we have to remain passionate about what we're doing. And I'm so proud of y'all, all of y'all, the people that are attending these webinars at this point in time, seem to have a great passion and wanting to do something new and different that'll make a positive impact. And we know we have to face risk, but I want you to know that with the knowledge that you're gaining, you can face these risks head on and solve the problems. One of the ways that we oftentimes miss our pivotal points that we need to make change is we just don't really want to face what's going on, or really don't feel like we're prepared to solve problems. And that's a dangerous situation. Lots of times, because we're trying to just kind of float along and not bring too much attention to ourselves and not be too different, we just want to be a part of the crowd that's doing well. Well, being a part of the crowd doesn't mean that you're going to be dramatically different. And being dramatically different as a business person is the difference in whether or not customers will see and want to come and get to know you and do business. So a willingness to be different is important. We got to maintain that strength and endurance. I've talked about endurance a lot this past year, but it is so important that I'm telling you there will be problems and there will be setbacks and there will be failures, and these are not the same things as the pivotal turning points. No, the problems and the setbacks and the failures are just part of life and part of doing business, but pivotal points in business are a whole different set of factors, so we don't need to get those confused. Our plans will end up in a ditch one day. Every month or every couple of months, I'll see that I've made a dumb mistake, and it's got me in the ditch. And I have to make a change. I have to apologize to a customer for a mistake I've made. I have to call up someone and say, I ordered the wrong product. Please help me out. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, and with all these years, I have made millions of mistakes and had to say, I'm sorry, and please help me get out of this ditch. I use that term often. So I have become flexible and skilled at apologizing and asking for help and finding ways to get on the new course. And you will become that way too, as long as you're not afraid of facing risk and making a mistake, because I want you to have the skills to set a new course. Having open communications and learning to talk back and forth with each other and share ideas and ask questions, and just accept that, you know, someone's asking you a question that's in their mind, and there's no such thing as a dumb or a bad question. When you learn to talk with your customers, generally they're going to ask you the same questions over and over and over again about different products, and you'll get a whole lot better about being open and sharing with your customers. So look forward to working towards that. That's why I enjoy having the back and forth with folks during the webinars. It helps us all become better communicators. I want you to be the leader that really wants to motivate and inspire people. And those people might be your family members, it might be your loved ones, it might be your friends, and of course, it's going to be your customers, because you are the one that will motivate and inspire your customers to do business with you. And when you're doing all that in the spirit of mutual helpfulness, yeah, everything becomes very positive when you're able to encourage your customers to do business with you, and they feel like and sense that you're trying to help them find what they're looking for and to be satisfied and therefore they're going to come back to see you and give you better communications. Always know that there are specific moments, really important moments in time, these pivot points when you make an adjustment that will help you in your business. I love giving these webinars because I really feel like that some of these tidbits, time to time, each one of us will pick up, hey man, I can take this and apply it and it will help my situation. That's a pivot point. And one reason that I love teaching and sharing and coaching, because I know that if I put a lot of good information out there, that some of the attendees will pick it up and consider it a pivot point that tomorrow I can put this to work and it will help my business. So that's where we're coming from. But hey, let's be honest. When we're making these decisions, sometimes it can be a miracle or sometimes it can be a mess. Hopefully we don't have a lot more miracles than we have messes, but we're going to take the risk and go ahead and do it. And doing it is kind of causes a scary situation. But I got a smile on my face because I'm encouraging you now. You got to step up to the plate and swing. You'll never knock a home run if you don't take a swing. You'll never get base hits if you don't step up to the plate and take the swing. And sometimes that is the pivotal moment, the turning point that I don't get off the bench and get in the game. So we'll talk about that as we go. But these pivotal points will make a major difference in your entrepreneur journey. And once you start making them and writing them down as, hey, this is a milepost. I made this decision, I made this change, and it resulted this way. You know what that adds up to? Time after time, it adds up to being wise. You're building personal wisdom to use for years and years to help you grow, help you improve your employment for yourself and other people, the services and delivery that you provide, but maybe most importantly, it gives you the freedom to think outside of the box because you know that you're ready to make decisions and you're willing to do it to move ahead. In other words, you're not stuck in the road. Now, when we face these pivotal points, we generally have three different options that we can do to make changes. Three different options when we realize that we're at the point that we need to make a change. One is we can just say, no, I'm not going to make this change now. I'm just going to keep forward and endure because I think this point is important, but just not important enough for me to take that big risk. Well, sometimes that's the right thing to do. I'll admit that, but it's kind of at least challenge your thinking and understand why you're holding the road and passing up this opportunity. Other times we'll just say, wow, this is super. I can take this and run with it. And those folks will change anything and everything right now. Make the changes and go for it. I salute their courage. I'll have to give someone with that attitude about this is think about it in another 2 minutes. Make sure you're feeling good about it. But if you feel like this change is needed to improve your situation, go for it. And then there's the third option, which says, okay, I see this opportunity coming up, and I've got a day or two, or I've got a month or two. But don't fool yourself. Sometimes these opportunities will not be there. But maybe you want to say, I don't study this a few days and think about it. Talk to Steve, talk to the Small Business Center, weigh it. But I know it's an important place in my business life. This opportunity is here. Do I need to make a right turn now, or a left turn, or go on down the road and hope there's another place that I can make this change? It's okay to think about it. Just always know, while you're developing that plan, someone else may be moving forward with the idea, and when you get your plan all fixed up nice and pretty, the opportunity is gone. So this is a realistic way of looking at this. Notice I'm not saying one way is right and one way is wrong. The key is that you have the ability to know that the opportunity is here. Hey, Lola, glad to have you on board. Danielle, good to see you back with us. And Mary, I'm so glad to see you. So let's talk now about earning points. Every business, when you're getting started, especially new small businesses, will seem to get to a certain point in earnings and just stop. I mean, it's like you're stuck in cement. That you put your business plan to work, you're working as hard as you can, and you got up to a certain point, but you can't raise it up. It's just not happening. And that is the point when you need to say to yourself, am I going to just stay here and keep plugging along, or am I going to consider this an earning point, a pivotal earning point, and see what needs to be done? Sometimes it's one or two issues that makes us get in that situation. One is that we're not managing our cash flow properly. We've got just enough cash flow coming in to sustain ourselves, but not to move forward, not to grow. And when that is the case, and you're at that stuck in the mud earning point, then what do we do? What do we talk about in our entrepreneur series? We look for new revenue sources to grow. And when we do that, that search for those new sources and making decision to go for it is all a part of your entrepreneur journey. That is knowing you're at a place where your earnings need to change, consider it an earning point, and now let's find and fix our cash flow problems. That's generally cash flow leaks. Now maybe we can make some changes and improve the cash flow, end up with enough revenues to make changes and to increase our general revenues coming in. But oftentimes, this is when it's so important. We increase upsells that we've talked about in all of our webinars. We increase those upsells to really jumpstart or push forward or boost our earning points so that our business has more cash flow coming in and we can do more things from it. So make the decisions. If you are stuck, what's it going to take to move us forward and learn the things and the tools that we've talked about. Now, learning. Learning is a major factor that holds a lot of us back. One, we want to move forward. Two, we feel like we've got the energy and we got the right ideas to move forward, but just don't know how. And until we are willing to make the honest admission to ourselves that our business skills, certain business skills, are either non-existent or very weak, that is a come to Jesus day for ourselves to admit that we are very weak or we just don't have the skills we need to move forward. That is a learning point that folks like us will say to each other, I have got to make a change in my knowledge if I ever hope to move forward and to grow my business. And you know, of course, that we're in a place here through these webinars to help folks actually make learning if they'll do it and start applying. Management skills, people skills, your product knowledge, and your customer service skills. All of these are very different things to learn. You can't just learn people skills and think you'll automatically know customer service skills. It just doesn't work that way. All of them are important. And customer service is so important, but not as important as hospitality. But when you attend our classes and you read our study guides on it, you'll see that customer service is one set of things that you do, but hospitality is a whole different way of thinking about it to make people feel good about doing business with you. How about your ability to make raving fan customers? Maybe you know how to sell and maybe you know how to treat customers right, but can you move a regular customer into becoming one of your raving fan customers? That takes that special skill about planting those brain seeds, right? Okay, now I want to think about looking forward and negotiating and considering how I'm going to negotiate with my customers as they start making me offers, how am I going to react to their offers and end up with a win-win successful deal closing? We have to learn how to negotiate, and that is so important for us, and we'll certainly have the opportunity to do it with our webinars. Remedies, you don't like some of these words. I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, but hey, it's just the way I feel about it, so I'll just share it with you. It's okay with me if you don't disagree, but the remedies of learning generally is choosing to be a part of a tribe of smart people. Surround yourself with people that have some good sense about them and are good business people and are generally smart. Doesn't mean book sense always. Common sense is important too. But let me tell you, when we fully admit that we're ignorant, we don't recognize it in the people we surround ourselves with. So part of moving forward with our learning points is challenging our own ideas and thinking. Challenge our own ideas and thinking. And you know what? Y'all really are good at doing this for me. Because every time I give a webinar presentation, I look at a slide, in my mind now is what is Mary going to think when I put this slide up? And is it the right thing? Am I using the right ideas? So we think about what the presentations that we're putting out there. I want you to remember something. High intelligence is a very valuable item. And we all have high intelligence about one subject or another subject, but not about everything, of course. And I don't really want to know everything about everything, but I'd like to be really good at the things I do need to know about. And so since high intelligence is a very valuable thing, you'll almost never find it with those people who constantly think cheap. People who think cheap have a really hard time moving forward and changing and thinking about doing things that maybe cost a little more, but I get a lot more value for it. I get a better value for what I'm doing. So you have to understand that a lot of folks are that way, and you want to sell to them, but you don't want to think like they do when it comes to running a business. So how do you change? Begin a structured structure means I don't date it and write it down and do it. Begin a structured goal oriented to learning. Looking at our calendars for webinars, saying I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then I'm going to learn to apply it. So putting some structure with your learning is the key to moving forward. It has made a major difference for me, and I certainly hope that it might be for you too. So now let's talk about the turning points. Again, those pivotal moments that will have the power to transform the future for you. That's how important this is. The pivotal moments that you decide that you're going to make a change that will indeed transfer your future, transform your future. Again, it's like going down the highway. You're going down the highway 70 miles an hour. You're in a hurry to get to success. You're in a hurry to make this sale. You're in a hurry to be a successful entrepreneur. And here I am, I'm going around the curves and I'm doing some good. I'm staying between the ditches. But you know what? I need to make a turn up here to get to an important place. And I'm going so fast without thinking, I miss it. And I go past it. That's what we're talking about tonight, is having that radar on so we don't do it. What are some of the turning points now that people should take the time to see what they're going to do different? Well, of course, as we've just talked about tonight with several people graduating, it's graduating season. A turning point in life is when you graduate, get a degree, and now let's apply it in the very best way I can. Let's make that application. The turning point for a lot of folks is when they get married or maybe when they get divorced. Sometimes you've got to make some serious business decisions at one time or another. So important, so real. Maybe it's a book that you've read. You know, I've mentioned several times in a lot of our webinars and seminars about the Dream Manager. One little thin book I have seen people take that book and make turning points in their life to change the direction of what business they're in, where they live, what they're going to do. So books can make a major, major difference. Maybe in your faith or in your religion, a sermon maybe just rings your bell one day. Maybe just that altar call just said, okay, it's my turn to get up. And sometimes a sermon will say, okay, it's my turn to run my business in the Christian way, or it's my turn to take some of my business money and donate it towards the church as a tithe, because I really believe in my heart it will make me feel better about my business, because I know my business is making a contribution. Maybe the preacher will say something to you that really just zings you on a mistake that you made this week. So I encourage you to follow your faith, and you do listen to good preachers who give good sermons, because they really inspire me, and maybe you'll find that inspiration there too. Maybe you're in a job search and it's one failure after another, or one no success after another, and this job search is making you reevaluate where you want to go with your business. And then sometimes I'm in a job, my boss, I've got a new boss, I really don't get along good with her or with him. We just don't see eye to eye. I've got to make a change. This boss is making me make a change. And let me tell you, I've seen it so many times that someone have a life-changing moment, like a serious car wreck or a stroke or a medical piece of medical information. I mean, something serious that might change your life, like a near crash in an airplane. And you say, okay, if I'm going to make a change to make things different in my life, I'm at a turning point. Are you there? Are you at a turning point? Do you know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to stop in a few moments, and we're going to talk about, has anyone thought about some turning points that maybe you faced that you might want to share and enlighten us? I've had a lot of these. I had a head-on collision with a pine tree a number of years ago that I guess because I was driving a heavy Suburban, I wasn't killed, but there was every reason I should have been. And after I recovered from that, I said, I need to be doing some things different, because I could have been gone. So I put off making some decisions. So that automobile wreck, a life-changing moment for me, was definitely a turning point, not only in my life, but in some other things as well. So health events in your life or in a loved one's life might make a difference. Oh man, in a military enlistment or a military discharge, for not only maybe you, but for your spouse or another family member, may bring on a turning point, doing things different. And a death, of course, none of us want to talk about it, but all of you know, just like it was for me when my father passed away and he ran and owned the business, he had taught me a lot of stuff, but when he passed on, it was a big milepost and turning point for me. Had to do things different. And I had some tools really good, but I was lacking in a lot of tools. I look back now and I wish that I had taught all these classes for 15 years before that date happened, because I would have done a lot of things different for me and my employees. And then sometimes, just out of the blue, we'll get bad news. Right out of left field, just like that old fellow Murphy that always hands out bad news. Sometimes bad news will come into us and knock us down. And as we're getting up, we'll say, I'm at a turning point, and I'm ready to make a pivotal change in what I'm doing. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe that source of income that we had depended on that gave us that extra amount of pocket change and spending money. After we retired, we learned that now we don't have some fixed incomes and have to do things a whole lot different. Man, I know how that works. I could probably live on my income that's coming in, but not certainly as well as I want to. So I love to spend money, and Norma really loves to spend money. So I enjoy making more money so that we can enjoy those things that we need to do. So retirement indeed may put you on a path of a turning point. Now, for small business owners, we have to deal with our personal turning points, but also businesses have turning points as well. COVID-19 put more people in making turning point decisions in the business world around the world more than anything else I've ever seen. I mean, even more than the Vietnam War. COVID-19 affected the whole globe, and business people had to make changes. You know that as well as I do. And then new products coming into the market may make what we've been doing obsolete, or it may give us a great opportunity to branch out and do things better. And new customer demands, if we are smart enough to see them and figure out how we can target those customers and have a profit center for them, that will be a turning point for us that helps us go forward. So I hope you're getting the message here that turning points are not always, and learning and earning points are not always negatives. Matter of fact, probably most of the time it's a positive situation. So I'm not frowning here as I'm talking about this, because turning points does not mean you're running from a problem or facing a possible disaster. Turning points could be, let's open the doors, make the turns we need to get to a better place. One of the turning points that is affected during COVID and anytime interest rates start going up, we may find that we thought we were okay with our cash flow and the amount of savings we had or our credit lines, but all of a sudden, I'm in a bind. I don't have enough money to meet the demands that my company faces. That's a serious situation. And you need to kind of look down the road and forecast what's coming at you so that you don't have to face this head on. But it's very serious. So as the interest rates started going up in the past few months, remember we've had 3 major banks that have failed. I mean, 3 huge banks that have failed because they had based their short-term business plan on interest rates being low, and all of a sudden they went up and they lost their lending power and had to fold up. I mean, huge billion-dollar banks make that mistake, so don't feel too bad if you and I, as small entrepreneurs, also might make the same mistake. But hey, we're talking about it, we're going to try not to. Or maybe you've been working really hard to try to close a business deal, and all of a sudden it just didn't work out. The deal fell apart. The customer told you no, and now we're at a turning point to try to figure out what do we need to do different in the future. Maybe things are doing pretty good, but you're seeing a trend that your business performance is going down. And you can make small adjustments and try to save it, or you can ride with it now and see if you can make it work without any changes, or you can determine this is a turning point and I need to take dramatic action to change it. And then sometimes in life, turning points just say to us, because of all the things that maybe I haven't covered, it's just time to move on. I don't have a big axe to grind, but I'm just in a rut, depressed, and I need to make a turning point to hold on to my own psychic and feel like I'm doing something important, new and good in the world. It's kind of time to move on. I need to set myself free and let me move on to another thing, and I know where I want to go. I do want to plan. So this is one of those times I just don't want you to say, I don't throw it all away and start all over. No, that's not what I'm after, because you've invested in your business plan, you've invested in your skills, and it's okay to move on as long as you're moving on to a better, more structured place. Yeah, we can have a GPS for our turning points. We certainly can, and that's what I want us to talk about now. What is the GPS in your turning points that will help you make the right turn? But more importantly, being aware of turns are coming up because of what you're seeing. So you ever watch anyone ride a wave at the ocean, or someone that's surfing? Your ability to move forward to make profit has everything to do with where you are on the curl of the wave. Where you are in your business profit center Are you on the profit center that you've just added that is just starting to take off and going to be real popular and sales are going to be real good? Or a way of doing things, new, fresh, probably has a future in front of it? Or are you on the back side of the wave and you know you're on the back side of it because sales are starting to decrease and you're having to spend more money to advertise to keep customers coming in to buy it? Having an awareness of where you are in your business development. If you're on the top of the wave, okay. But if you're on the back side of that wave, then you've probably got some serious turning points in front of you. Is what we're doing for our customer have the real value for the customer? Or is it something that's just so old that our customer base is getting smaller and smaller and smaller? And do you need to do something to make a change? Either add profit centers, rethink how you're doing this to revitalize that customer base. And in the process of doing that, you're going to come up on some turning points. We've taken the path of least resistance in selling products. We've offered pretty good quality, and we've kept our prices down. But you know what? I'm seeing now some people that are selling products that cost more than mine because they've got better quality. I'm seeing they seem to have a better business plan than I do. My business plan is going towards cheap, cheap, cheap with a dwindling market. And what turning points do I need to find right ahead? And I need to start looking for them right ahead to change this situation. Have I determined that I can do business with just a few people and be okay? I'm not really worried about bringing in new customer groups. Is that where you are now? Or do you need to think about your best potential targets and start marketing them in their direction? Are we really serious riding down this road of entrepreneurship in determining, does it really matter what my customer wants, or am I just in this plan that I'm good at this is my product, so that's what I'm going to offer? I don't have a whole range of profit centers to offer my customers. I'm good at this, and I will stay with it, whether a lot of customers want it or not. Well, that's a decision you don't have to make, because some of us have taken one skill and determined that's what we're going to base our business on. And now I'll mention, maybe it's time, if that's the case, that you have a learning point to decide I need to learn some new skills so I can improve my business situation. What do the customers want? All of them want good preparation. We want simplicity in doing business, creativity. I want to be loyal. I want to be customers to be accessible to me, and I am willing to accept accountability. That's what customers are expecting of us as entrepreneurs. And so we need to make some turning points, learning points, or earning points to be able to be there for them, especially with accountability. And if our marketing, our pricing message is take it or leave it, and I've talked about this a lot, but sometimes people have a hard time doing anything except putting a price tag on something and say take it or leave it. When we do that, you are opening yourself up to need a turning point in your marketing so that you can find better deal closing solutions than saying take it or leave it. When do we move now forward, starting tomorrow, to start looking for the awareness that turning points are important, and learning points are important, and earning points are important if we're going to have a more successful life, and business. Knowing whether right around the corner we need to make a right-hand turn, or maybe it's a left-hand turn. But my friends, what I want to tell you is be aware and be awake that we want to stay awake to recognize our opportunities to go off the exit one way or the other to improve our situation. the term woke is being used a lot in today's world with politicians now about the woke movement. Well, I'm starting a woke movement right now because I want you to be woke. I want you to be awake. Awake so that you will recognize these pivotal points in business. You'll get some actual awareness factors with people sending you a clear signal. You will see some clear signals in business that, as I mentioned earlier, that you're ready to make a change. And you will also get the feeling, just a feeling as you study or consider something that, hey, good things are ahead if I take advantage of this situation. Be smart. Know there's risk involved, and every time you make a change, there are risks involved, but good times are ahead. So what are the awareness factors that will help you recognize those pivotal points? Well, first of all, when you complete that first business plan and you actually see how it's come together, that's a good point that you're ready to implement that plan. When your business grows to the point that you hire your first employee, and that's a scary moment, but that is an important moment. Maybe you finished that training course. I really hope that when the attendees to our Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates, when you finish that course and you've achieved learning a lot, that when that certificate comes to you and you look at it and you hold it, it becomes a learning point and a turning point for everyone that completes our courses here online. That's why we want to send you that really nice certificate so that it'd be a memory to give you the encouragement. Finding a mentor, maybe you hadn't had one before, someone that you listen to on a regular basis, and it's just you find some inspiration there. Recognizing a new door of opportunities open to you, or you meet someone for the first time and you say, hey, if I follow their lead, if I watch what they're doing, this is a turning point I want to make to follow them. Maybe you have opportunity to receive some money, some capital, and you think about it, what will you do with it when it comes? How will you use that? Are you going to think about it and consider it or work for it? And then maybe you finally get to a point that you realize that after all this hard work that you're doing, Edna and Danielle and John and Lola, to get your business started, you finally realize that, hey, I have done this, it's come together, and I actually have a business. And I am so happy and proud of you. That's an awareness point that you're going to say, I'm going to move forward now, and it will be a milepost for you because you are now ready to make some dreams come true. And that's a happy moment in entrepreneurship life, and what a wonderful turning point that is. Other factors would be, are you reaching the audience that you need to reach? If you're not, maybe there's a turning point ahead for you. How's your customer relations? Do you really feel like that you're offering what customers want and need? And we're always weighing out there, that's two different types of products. Are you offering both of them? If you see, knowing this is important now, look ahead to see when you need to make some changes. Let me tell you that you may have the very best products in the world, and you know that now. But now you've also been honest to yourself, saying, I do not have the selling skills to move this forward. And therefore, I am at a turning point because I realize I'm not going to have the income we need. So let's identify these skills you need to start making sales so that we can change that situation around. Is your product mix diversified? Are you setting up your business to stay busy year-round and to serve a large different groups of customers, or have you got all your eggs in one basket? Big important question. Now I'm going to tell you that there's going to be peaks and valleys in your sales, unless you've got something really special going on, and I hope you do. But in my business, I've got a good, steady business, but still there are significant peaks and valleys. Been here for a number of years, I've got a radar that's turned on, and I pretty much know when they are in normal times. Now, here's the message for you. You haven't been there. So let's think about, talk about, and plan what's going to happen if I have peaks and valleys in my sales. How are you going to handle that? And when you say to yourself, this is important to me, and I'm going to find out about it, then you'll better be able to recognize the peaks when you see them start coming up on the road to you. It's like looking at the mountains way ahead of you. And then you'll determine, do I need to turn here or take a detour there to avoid damages in these peaks and valleys? And maybe one that's so important is that you're working hard, but it seems like things are just cloudy. Things are just not looking good. I got a lot of stuff going wrong here. Running out of time, running out of money, running out of this, running out of that, people talking negative things to me. And let me tell you that you have to say to yourself, this is not good. I have got to break out of these shadows, these worry clouds. I've got to get away from the worry clouds so I can think with a straight head. And let me encourage you, that is a turning point. When you make the decision, I'm going to look for this exit that'll put me where I can break away from these clouds and find encouragement, find the endurance to keep me going there. That doesn't mean that you're not going to run through another shower. What it does mean that once you break out of them once, you'll have the intestinal fortitude that the next time those worry clouds come up, you'll say, I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to keep plugging along, keep my business going on. Do you have you developed now in your mind and in your thinking for your business a marketing plan? A marketing plan that's going to help you look down the road to know what's next. Well, I teach what's called the Golden Goose marketing plan that helps you determine that you're going to have business in the future by following through on sales, by the magic marketing moment, by talking with your customers about 100% satisfaction. Make sure they're raving fan customers so they will keep coming back, number one. And number two, keep other people coming to you that advertise for you. And number three, tell you what people are thinking about buying, when they're going to buy again. That's the Golden Goose marketing plan that gives you that self-assurance that my business is going to be okay. Because if I do certain things right, I'll keep my business going. The key here is keeping your eyes wide open, as I said earlier. Because if we miss the turning points, then we're going to miss them forever. A lot of these turning points, you don't get a chance to go back and redo them. That's the way it is. You don't get a chance to redo. We have to stay awake. That is the key to making it happen. The turning point is a critical time in our life where the decisions we make can make a big change in what's going on. And again, in a minute, we're going to take a few times and we'll turn the mics on and ask y'all to join us with chit chat. I'm going to ask you individually, have you faced some turning points or learning points or earning points? Does any of this make sense to you and how you think you might apply it? This is a chance for all of us to learn to communicate better at a real important time. It's a whole different type of class presentation. There will be bumpy roads ahead. That's a part of traveling on an entrepreneur journey. There will be some bumpy roads ahead, and we may or may not have a sign that tells us all about it. Let me tell you about some things that I've seen through the years about that causes bumpy roads. And because I'm sharing this knowledge with you, you'll be better able to recognize possible turning points that come up for you in the future. Copycat products in today's world are very, very prolific. lots of people will come out with something really good, and within a month or two, there'll be some competitors out there with a copycat model that's in competition with it. And you're going to face this no matter what business you're in. The competition, if you've got something good going on, you'll have competition trying to take those customers away from you. Know that that's the case, so you're always looking for a way to improve what you're doing or change what you're doing to keep someone from copying what you're doing. Man, that's been a big deal with me. I would have a new product come out, and I'd market it and sell it and push it and have great sales, great volume, and all the other dealers across the nation watch me and would determine, hey, if Steve can do this so well, I can do it. They add that product alone, and they'll start marketing so therefore my sales will start shrinking, and theirs will start going up. Well, that's good for them, not good for me, right? I invested all this money to introduce the product, and they're taking the advantage of my investments with customers that I'd rather buy it from them because they're closer to them or they got a cheaper price. So how do you fight that? What are the turning points I have to do in that situation? One, know that it's going to happen. Don't put myself in a position to be surprised because for 20 years it's been happening. But next is to take that product while we're on the front curve of the wave, start making improvements in the way I market it, the way I package it, my pricing structure, the different ways that we bundle it so that while it's hot, I'm staying a step or two in front of my competitors as long as I can. You see, my competitors are on the back side of the wave, and that's where I want to keep them. Steve-O wants to be on the front side of the wave so that I enjoy the new customers coming in while they're all about old customers, but these new customers coming into me, telling me what's new and what's happening with them helps me stay ahead of the game. You can't ever rest. Yeah, I got something good going on. I'm just going to ride it as long as it goes. Well, if you do that, you'll ride it to the point there's nothing left. If you've got just one or two customers that make up more than 25 or 30% of your sales, that's a problem. You want diversification. Yeah, I love those 25 or 30% of my sales being with just a few people, but that's putting all your eggs in one or two baskets, and that is not good. So we always have to look for what turning points we have to make to change that situation. Maybe you have strong competitors in a weak or declining market share. That's awful. But the key is recognizing that's a fact and looking for ways that you can make turns or learns to improve your earning. Don't just sit there and watch it happen, but think about what you can do to improve the situation. And maybe your product is at the end of its life cycle. Maybe other products are just taking it out, but this product has been good for you for a long, long time, and you've got a very loyal customer base. Well, you want to keep them. That's a good thing. You've got that very loyal customer base. But now we have to think about the turning points of how we can touch base with those customers, see what they would recommend for their next thing they're going to do so that you can be the person that's offering the product to them that they're going to replace it with. You want to hold on to them. That's the key. One product is making 30% of your sales. Again, a situation where it's dangerous. So you need to offer a diversified group of profit centers. Maybe in your business, you see that if you're going to stay in business, you're going to have to make a major investment of cash real soon. And this is a turning point that some people will decide, I think I don't get out of business. I think I'm ready to retire. I think I'm ready to sell my business. Maybe I need to look forward to an investor. Maybe I need to talk to someone to see what the real chances are that I can get a bank loan at this point in time, in my age, the condition of my business. But you're forecasting that bumpy road ahead, knowing it's very likely Maybe you've got a building that needs a new roof, and that roof is $25,000. Sometimes that puts people out of business. Maybe you need to add a shop or do just something really big to spend money, and you don't have it. So forecast that situation is in front of you and come up with a plan how you can negotiate that path to end up going the right way to save your business or to make the changes you need to make in your life. Pending legal action or can cause bumpy roads. That could be something from a whole host of different things. But pending legal actions are very serious and put people in a risky situation. So don't wait till it's too late, but explore your options. Talk to people about what you can do to maneuver to get to a better place. But these things happen. Know that they don't happen. They happen to me, and they may happen to you as well. Bringing this in for a landing, and we're getting ready to close it up and start talking a little bit. What do you think about this? What do you think about it? Well, remember, these learning, earning, and turning points may create a miracle, or they may create a mess. And oftentimes they're going to be a scary situation. But the great thing is oftentimes they are a very happy situation as well, because they do help you have a chance for more growth, better employment for yourself and for other people, improve your ability to serve your customers and your community. Maybe you'll get really better at delivery and make it easier to do business with you. But again, more importantly, the pivotal points in entrepreneurship are those places that open up and give you freedom to go where you want to go, to enjoy the fact that we're in America and you do have all kinds of freedoms to grow your business to do it. Remember the three choices that you have, and let me encourage you to think about this. When something's coming up, you can either hold on the road and endure it, don't make any changes, see it through. Sometimes that's the right thing to do, but it's kind of dangerous to have that thinking all the time. Some folks will say, okay, let's change everything and anything to make things better now, and just go really to the extremes, one way or the other. I don't really want to encourage you to do that. I want you to have the courage to make change, but do it carefully. Don't make big changes, just like when I'm encouraging you to start your business. Don't make big steps. And then lastly, take the time and let's study this. Let's think about what's down. And now, by the advantage of having this webinar, number 3 is going to come more into play because you'll have more options that you can consider instead of having to make a fast, rash, knee-jerk type move that oftentimes you'll regret down the road. I like to have kind of a plan with a timeline on it. I kind of like that. But remember, I also gave you the caution that if you think too long, you don't think wrong. So when the opportunities come to make that turn, to take advantage of this or that, you have to be willing to take some risk to do it. Nothing wrong with making a phone call or two. Nothing wrong with taking another day or two. Things don't have to be done this very second. But oftentimes these type of turning, learning, and earning points have to be made within a day or two. That's why it's good to have a mentor or an advisor or someone you can roll an idea past or just to see what they think. That doesn't mean you're going to follow somebody else's lead every time, but it does mean you're willing to consider the options. And that's what I want you to do. So what we're going to try to do here is be the best people we can be. We're going to let our candle shine to help people see us so they can come do business with us, to send out warmth to people that need to feel that warmth. But mainly, we want to be the best people we can be, because when we're doing that, we're going to be the best business people we can be. So thank you very much for sharing this first presentation of Pivotal Points. I'd like to, if you would, for you to turn on your microphones, give me your impressions or share with me any pivotal points that maybe you faced through the years that you'd like to share. John, could I ask you to lead us off?
Okay, sure. I was thinking about a turning point in my life. I remember when my mom first got diagnosed with cancer. That was a big deal for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, and my dad, I remember he had to have heart surgery. That was a big deal too. And I remember when I first got diagnosed with schizophrenia back when I was 15. That was a big turning point in my life. So.
Do you remember any business decisions that you made for a certain reason?
Oh, okay. Rather than personal life, business life. Well, I mean, when we first launched the webcomic back in 2015, that was a turning point.
Uh-huh.
And then I forgot what year it was when we first went on Patreon and started making money on it. That was a turning point too.
That sounds like a good turning point, no doubt. That was an earning point as well, right?
Correct.
Absolutely. Well, great. Thanks for sharing. Any questions or observations? Okay, let me ask Danielle, are you still with us, or are you still driving the taxi tonight?
I stopped. I'm outside. I'm at the T-ball field. What's going on?
I was asking you if you've had any turning, learning, or earning points along the way that you want to share with us.
I've had a lot of learning curves here in this area. I have to learn who the commissioners are in my area, so I can really start my business. Because it seems like it's not what I know, it's who I know.
You know, that's very important, and that'd be another slide I might add to this presentation. Is a lot of what you need to learn is the people involved that make the decisions that affect us. So I appreciate you mentioning that. That's a big deal. Okay, great. Edna, what do you think about the situation?
Oh, I know I had to learn all over again from when I started my tour business. My point was I had a handicapped son and he had passed away. Then also after he passed away, I ended up getting sick. So I had to stop for a couple of years.
Wow.
So my turning point was me getting back on track. That's what I'm doing now. Me getting back on track and going back to the basics, especially when I first started taking the Entrepreneur Academy with you, I went back to them classes and took out a lot of stuff that I had learned from you and bringing it up now to learn from it and start all over again with. Well, not really start. Well, you could say I'm rewriting it again because I am starting it all over again.
I understand. Well, thank you very much for the comment. And, you know, something that we hear today, if we do put it in a special place, we can go back and take it off the shelf and taste it again. Sometimes things that we heard in the past can be really important to us in the present. So that's a good point. Really is.
I did with all your classes. I put it in the folder and I put your name on it. What was that class? So it was easy. Well, it was easy for me to go back because I knew I had to go back to because everything you have been teaching, I mean, I have learned, and now I am actually implementing all of that in what I'm doing now, building my tour business back all over again. So, Steve, I thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for sharing with us. Lola, would you like to join in the conversation?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Lola, we hear you real well. Where are you tonight?
Awesome. I am in Eastern North Carolina. I'm right outside the Air Force Base, Seymour Johnson in Goldsboro.
Fantastic. That's a lovely area. Thanks for joining us tonight. What did you take away from what we've been talking about?
Definitely just being aware. I guess when you kind of talked about like our whys and why we decided to like get into our businesses, I feel like that definitely will push you on those hard days as to knowing, okay, this is why I needed to switch gears and do something different. So.
I understand completely. I'd appreciate it, Lola, if you would go to chat and give us your email address, and that way I can get you on our reminder list to let you know when we're giving these, and also stay in touch with you in case you want me to send you any free study guides. What type of business are you thinking about into, Lola?
I'm a postpartum doula, so I'm offering postpartum care services to mothers and their families as they're giving birth in this area. I understand we have a lot of transplants and a lot of military families that may not have families close by, so having that support can be very helpful for them.
Very good. You know what? I've been doing this for 16 years now, and you're the first person that said that was a business that you were going to start, and that is wonderful. So I've got something new to add on to our attendees. So neat. And are you doing that now, or just preparing yourself to do it?
I initially started because I got trained in Houston, and so I worked through a couple of agencies to kind of receive some of my clients as referrals. So my goal this year was to become totally solo and be able to do it on my own. So I returned back to Eastern North Carolina because I wanted to be able to offer it here where I'm home. So.
Are you doing any marketing, or just getting customers by word of mouth?
I believe a lot will come from referrals, but right now I'm definitely working on making sure my website is live and being able to advertise at some of the local pregnancy centers and like OBGYN offices, and just leaving flyers and business cards, and if they would like opportunities for me to kind of present some of the services that I offer, taking advantage of those opportunities.
That's fantastic. Well, we applaud you, absolutely, for taking this step in an area that really needs folks providing that service. Please do send me an email or write in chat here how I can link to your website. I'd really like to look it over and maybe help send some business your way.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Any other comments, my good friends?
Excuse me. The young lady, I know this is Danielle. The young lady who was just on, have you thought about partnering with WIC or any of the social services departments to see if they can also help you?
That was mentioned to me. I've also taken part in like a launch program, and that was suggested to me from it was a lady, I believe she was a nurse, and she said to look into maybe partnering and leaving my information to see if there was anyone that I could help that way.
That's interesting. Danielle, what is WIC?
Women, Infant, and Children. It's a program that social services has from 0 to 5, where they give you food and nutritional information and help for the underprivileged families who get Medicaid and food stamps.
Fantastic. Sounds like a program that people would really rely and need. Okay. Any other comments? Well, thank you all for joining me this beautiful spring evening. I know there's probably lots of other things you could have done. I'll put you on my reminder list and look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions during the week or at any time, don't hesitate to send me an email or ask for a study guide. I'll be glad to work with you. So God bless you all. I look forward to working with you in the future. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Take care.
All right, Steve, don't forget to send me the information about the processes, the credit card thing. Square.
Thank you, Ed. I've got a note right here to take care of that for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.